Good morning.
Good morning, Effie.
So I'm excited to be here at SEBA today. First of all,
Thank you.
because yesterday was a milestone for SEBA, officially launching its operations. Today is World Kindness Day, and I know all about the vision of SEBAVersity, and I want you to tell us more about the vision through that, the thought leadership and the Internet of Value, since it's World Kindness Day today.
Okay, thanks very much for the opportunity, Effie. It's always good to talk about the good in the world, right? There is, I think it's important to emphasize all the progress that we do. SEBA obviously also thinks it can contribute to that particular element. I think money makes the world go around. Maybe it makes too much emphasis on money only. And I think with the tokenization or the digitalization of assets, we hope, and it's also part of the vision, that the money which is only a measure like time and metrics is going to be a little bit more what is supposed to be. It's basically a measure to understand what is the relative comparison between goods and services, or maybe even kindness, right? And the tokenization or the digitalization of assets, something that people haven't really thought about it yet, or too much about it. You and I, we have, is the Internet of Values, right? It's the social values and how maybe we can emphasize with the tokenization of such a value more the goodness in the world and link it with maybe social development goals that are defined.
A purpose that is more meaningful,
exactly.
And beyond, in addition, without devalorizing money per se, but maybe rethinking money in a broader sense and making it hybrid. Like we talk about hybrid tokens, but we need to push that thinking further and see how we can integrate these values to the pure, absolute financial values, because that's what is really the goal of SDGs, of philosophers, of political leaders talking about how we can integrate these values. That's in all disciplines, right? Whether it's medicine, whether it's education, we can have artificial intelligence do a good diagnosis of a patient, but then taking care of the person, you need that human care. And how do you evaluate that? How do you promote it? How does it come into the wealth of the society, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then now you already moved the discussion very philosophically, because there is two dimensions, there is the knowing and the believing. And these two things are always flowing together. And I think with the tokenization, there is a way to promote one for the other. And I think that's the credo anyway, I think in my life, but also the blockchain is and not or, right? You suddenly can bring these topics together. Something else that you mentioned before is kind of promoting. We have SEBAVersity. And SEBAVersity is the non-profit arm of SEBA to really give education, or we can even call it demystification. I was in Asia last week, and I was also on a panel, and people talk about education and demystification of finance. For us here, it's pretty obvious how you do your money business, and if you have to make a little bit of money, how you're going to invest that money. But even on that front, I think many people don't really understand the do's and the don'ts, and there are many traps or hidden costs, which a whole industry is living off. And I think we also need to explain what to look after if you buy a car or a table or a bag. You know exactly what you want to check. Since finance is an intangible service in a way, people don't know, right? And so we want to do the education. And then on top of it, it's the whole blockchain or digital asset, cryptocurrencies and services, which we want to explain, and people can come to us, and we have sort of programs aligned knowledge rather than wealth size. So there are people that are curious, they are interested to maybe tip their finger into the water, but so far it was a bit too complicated. We explain them what this is all about to create simplicity. Then we have the explorers, they have done stuff, but they think it's a little bit, it's painful, and explain what possibilities there are. And then there are the seekers, I call it, those people that are a bit lost, they don't believe anymore in some of the fundamental financial principles. They're looking for an alternative. And what we do in SEBAVersity, we're not educating for selling. So it's a pure education, totally agnostic.
It's independent thinking and transparent.
Exactly.
You can ask a question, you can get an honest, experienced answer, and it's not about selling a specific product or a specific way of allocating assets or making money.
Exactly.
It's a space to bring people from this ecosystem here in Switzerland that is growing, but from abroad too, and have these discussions at all these different levels. We need it. And actually it's needed in the conventional system because, as you said, people don't understand the products, and they don't know what they're paying for. They feel that there isn't transparency in the intentions and the fiduciary duty of the financial services providers. So here is an opportunity to change that.
To make things simple, right? If you buy a real estate fund, it's a piece of paper with many analytics in there, which they make sense in itself. But for the majority of the people, it doesn't mean anything. And then there is a price for a unit, which is also a proxy. I think with the tokenization, and I say, this is the house, and you buy a millionth of that house, that when you stand in front of the house, you may have already a sort of an idea, because seeing is still believing, right? So through visualization, we have internalization of concepts. And so, with tokenization, we can create the link between the investor and the investment, and also making the intangible service world more tangible again, because at the end of the day, the underlying is something tangible. And so this is our contribution to the world, so to speak. I think SEBA does not exist because we thought crypto is going up and down and we need to have a regulation to trade and make money out of it. I'm very proud that we have, all our investors, they have a vision. They see a step or two, even 2 steps ahead, and are strategic, and that's why we also are, allowed to pursue this concept and promote that.
And if you think of kindness, since it is the theme today, it's all about inclusion and this exchange of giving. By giving, you receive the pleasure. Yeah. So, especially with SEBAVersity, I think that is a practical use case of it, where we are sharing knowledge, we're bringing the community together to give, and through that to receive the pleasure of opening up this community instead of keeping a very close circle of people that know about crypto and all this exotic stuff.
Because I call it also a little bit in the internet, right? You or whatever services you start to use, you get into this digital bubble, right? Right. Other algorithms, they define your preferences and they deliver you the message. Right? And I think exactly that's what we want to break. We want to have everyone to come to us. I mean, we have in the first wave. Obviously, you have to have certain wealth to open an account, unless you're an employee of a crypto company. Obviously, that was also our mission, and that we, through the regulators, we created confidence that we can provide these services. But even people don't want to open an account, or they are critical. They can come to us, and then we have these SEBAVersity, sometimes dialogues, interactions. I mean, you are going to do some stuff that I think that should be very fruitful, because we need to have this inclusion of ideas, even if you don't agree. Right? Because there is everybody has a motivation and comes from somewhere. And one of our principles in SEBA is also understand prior to be understood. I think many times people want to be understood, and then they are open for a dialogue, and we have to turn that around. And I think that's about kindness, respect, and make the world a better place.
Make the world a better place. And also the last thing that I think is important to realize is that we're talking about the digitization, but we are also combining the physical world by having a physical space for physical meetings to interact with people. And that combination is also, I would say, a unique and ideal combination for people, because pure online is really not the ideal place to start a relationship from, without being knowledgeable and up to speed. So this is...
Do you allow me to do a little sale?
Little sale. We're all selling, so let's sell two things today. What will you sell?
I think when people, and this also, I think it fits nicely into the kindness day. If people open an account, and people can now open an account online, they get as a gift, they get the SEBA card, right? Which now the first time people can consume the cryptos in the real world. I think that's significant. But there is another thing. There is a physical SEBA token. And with the SEBA token, that represents a coffee and a wish. And they can come by to us, get a coffee, and in front of our building we have the fortune fountain, and people can wish something, and that's maybe wish something kind for themselves, for the family, or their friends.
And exactly that is the point, that kindness is not only about the others. You can start by being kind to yourself, treat yourself, whether it's opening a SEBA account or whatever you wish, right?
Yes, I hope the experience is not so painful.
Right. But it's a journey, it's a landmark sort of moment in Switzerland and in the world. Imagine, 10 or 20 years after, we'll be showing pictures that we were there at that opening.
Maybe.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Great.
bye.
Always.